Alright guys, welcome back to Red Grove Entertainment. John here, loading up some Division 2. Just wanted to do some random gameplay, have some fun, give some critique, give some thoughts and ideas. Yeah. So, I'm sitting here creating a new character. Figured I would randomize a few things, kind of look at some options that are available. Go from there. Like, let's not be green-haired. Let's change our face up a little bit. Four looks good. Go back there. We're not going to play with the facial structure at all. We are going to leave the skin tone where it's at. Eyes fine. Hair. Let's go, I don't know. Yeah, let's do something like that. Of course, you know what helps is if I actually select it. Then we go hair color and like make us somewhat normal. Again, helps if I select it. And the facial hair, I personally am a fan of the big full beard. Facial markings, we've got some scarring. Let's go for something big and visible like that guy. We're going to leave the face paint off. We're going to go for the neck tattoo. Yeah, let's do that one. And the arm tattoo. Let's just grab that first one there. And a leg. We'll grab that one there. Clothing. Let's go with, I like the bandana. And take some shades. We'll bare the arms. Takes just some black pants. We'll take some regular boot-esque type shoes. And we've got a shade badge there. Confirm character holding to accept. So this particular character, I've decided to run up as a hardcore character, which means if I die, the character is gone. For those who are unfamiliar with the terminology in games like this. So as I run through this, I'm going to want to be thorough, careful, and not play like I normally would play, which is being reckless and crazy. So we'll start off by getting through some tutorial missions here. And yeah, we'll just see how far I go.
Take cover. Don't worry. Coming from behind that barrier.
Incoming hostiles. Keep firing and take them out. Oh, they keep coming. Hold the line.
This one's mine. Quick, reload.
Watch your flank.
Got you now.
So we're doing cover moves to keep ourselves hidden, have a little higher defense as we run. With the gun that I'm running, because I got such a small mag, I like to do burst fire with it. So rather than like holding the trigger down and missing some shots, I'll line them up and try to hit them, you know, with a couple of shots at a time. Keeps it from climbing on you and helps with control.
Check the perimeter.
See to those barricades and have someone radio the patrols to be on the lookout for stragglers. Some of those bastards got away. I didn't expect another attack so soon. You okay?
There we go.
If this keeps up, we're gonna have to relocate. Come on, help me with this. We're stretched too thin to protect everyone here. Not again.
Get to the waterfront!
That can't be right.
Get to the waterfront. What do we got going on down here? Love the mobile turrets. Love those little guys.
This is a distress code with coordinates for Washington, D.C. How is this possible?
Get down! Everybody get down! Someone has to stay. We can't just leave these people here. Whatever happened, it needs to be fixed or it's all over. You go.
Okay. On it.
I'll do what I can here. Go!
Pew 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 pew. Okay. So we get to go to Washington D.C. and figure out what's going on here.
We took things for granted. We expected coffee in the morning. We expected free Wi-Fi. When those were taken from us, we survived. When communications broke down, the trains stopped and the internet went dark, we survived.
When the pharmacies were looted and hospitals shut down, asthma became lethal. And with no police to protect you, did you own a gun?
Did your neighbor?
Some survived.
Yep.
We are a resilient species. When our society collapsed, we found ways to go on. And now, for the first time in centuries, what we want is also truly what we need. In the face of disaster, we helped each other.
We built new communities in the ruins of the old. We adapted. We survived. Established a new normal. But there are also those who build nothing. Create nothing.
Hyenas preying on the weak. They've made our world bleed. But we don't stand alone. A brave few have sworn to protect us and save what remains.
Yeah.
They unite us.
The Division.
Remind us that we are one people. They are our shield and our light. But if that light goes out,
Who can save us then?
Right? My reason
been 7
reason
months
for
since
not
the outbreak.
dying.
We still live in fear of the virus, the green poison. The real danger is out there, waiting.
Yeah. Alright. Coming up on DC. Checking some stuff out. Just kind of scrolling through. Man, it's crazy. So for those who don't know, in the original Division game, Green Poison, as it became known, was released on Black Friday on contaminated money, and a lot of people got sick and a lot of people died. The original Division is you trying to retake Manhattan and trying to establish some balance to, that city. It spread, and now it's hit DC in a hard way. And so, that's where we start, coming in here, as they said, 7 months after Green Poison was released. We are trying to answer a distress call for the White House.
Incoming alert on the SHD emergency channel. Flash priority.
The base of operations is under attack. Hostile forces have breached our southern perimeter. We are in need of immediate assistance. Repeat, need immediate assistance from any nearby agents.
Now you can kind of wander around a little bit, find, random gearboxes and stuff to collect. You'll see this yellow, kind of outlines things that loot. As you're running around, there are ways to boost the range on when and where you see those as you get further into the game. So it really just depends on how much time you want to spend running around out here, just kind of hunting for stuff. There's some gun boxes and gear boxes that can be found. Personally, I don't worry about spending too much time out here, just because a lot of the stuff that you're going to find, you're going to replace real quick, very often, until you hit max level. And then you're going to start hunting for specific pieces of gear. As you're leveling up, you'll want to set aside certain kinds of gear because of the abilities or talents that it has on it. Love a shotgun. And you guys will hear me say that on about any game I play where I'm shooting. Give me a shotgun. And we're going to dismiss that. We don't need a lot of the tutorial. These green boxes, when you find them, they're food. There's blue barrels that do water. And then there's little green boxes that'll do tech for gathered items. When you're hunkered down behind something, you can hit, for me it's control, to jump over it. If you want to do a cover-to-cover move, you see where it's got right there in the middle of the screen. Hold the space bar and you can jump over. So you can work your way up, get within a decent range, and go blam, blam. Reload those. Reload those. I do love the fact that it drops these little pillar
Agent, if you can hear us on this frequency, keep pushing forward
with
and
the loot.
these bastards.
You can see them appear up on the mini map in the top left corner as well. Makes it easy so that when you have loot hit the ground, you can always check the mini map, be like, oh, there's stuff to pick up before I move on. One of the features that I really like there too. Yeah. Alright, let's get up here where we're going. I think this next section I'm going to want to have the rifle. No, I didn't run past a lootable. Okay. So I like to jump up here. Red items usually refer to weak points. They explode or cause a status effect of some kind on the enemy, making killing them a lot easier. Level 2. Alright. We'll dismiss reading about level ups, not too worried about those at the moment. Those will come fast and furious as we rock along. There's the agent, get that fire out! I do have to warn, as you saw in the opening side, there is some language involved, so those who are sensitive to such things, please be warned. The bad guys don't take my advice to clean up their act at all, so I have to shoot them to get the point across. So there is a lot of blood, violence, and gunfire. You know, a lot of stuff going on. So, be warned, please. We picked up an apparel piece. I want to see what that looks like. Yeah, we're gonna rock the YOLO hat. The Memento Mori cap is a reward for those brave souls who laugh in the face of death and come back to try another day. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Let's throw in something colorful. Whoa, not that colorful. We want that colorful. And let's throw in something that's got dangly bits for the pants. So, because I have a regular character in the game that I've played through, I've collected quite a bit of stuff to work with. We'll go with the bullets there for now. There are some nifty little masks and things I could throw in there too. We're not going to worry too much about those. And do I have my favorite glasses? Hey. We'll take that off. There we go. Alright. So we're decked out there. As you play through, you'll pick up apparel cache keys. You can open these up, and that unlocks all of these different outfits. You can come through the store and go into the outfits section and then work your way through different outfits through here. Yeah, it's just a cute little aesthetic thing of the game. What we really want to do is come into inventory here and start looking at some of the stuff we picked up and compare them. Like this has got the higher armor rating up here versus this one, so we will mark that one as garbage. Come to the knee pads. Knee pads are the same way. We'll mark that as garbage. And then I don't deconstruct gray stuff. I sell gray stuff early on. They're not worth a lot of money, but when you come in and you start having access to the vendor here, like, you know, a couple $100 gets you a better gun, gets you a piece of gear that's got armor boost to it. When you're running a hardcore character, you know, that little bit definitely is going to help. Just depends on how you play and how you roll. Personally, I like to get as much of an edge as I can because I do tend to play a little crazy and forget that I'm running a hardcore character. So, we'll do a cutscene here and continue on.
This is you. Welcome to DC. I'm Manny. I run comms. I'm guessing the Division Alert brought you here? Damn glad to see you. Let me show you exactly how screwed we are. Ever since the JTF imploded, the city's become a playground for murderous fuckheads. There are several main factions, and a whole lot of bottom feeders sucking up whatever the big dogs miss. A few civilian settlements are still holding out against all this villainy. They need more help than we've been able to provide, especially since the Division network went dark. That's Kelso. She's one of the last surviving agents in DC. She's operating out of the theater settlement on a priority mission. You should go check in with her. If anyone knows how to get these systems back online, it's her.
Yep.
Oh, and introduce yourself to the locals while you're at it. It'll comfort them to know there's a new sheriff in town.
And that is the plan. New sheriff, you're looking at him.
By
Too
the way,
bad you can't dual wield the
head
guns.
downstairs and check in with the quartermaster. He can get you set up with some division tech. You're gonna need the edge.
Alright. Now, I definitely agree, gonna need the edge.
We've got a new skill for you.
Depending on your play style and what you're doing. Next. Previous. Next. Okay. That's just going to cycle us through, so we're not going to worry about that at the moment. Depending on your play style, what you're looking at, what you're doing, you really want to look these over for, the difficulty of use, whether it's better for co-op or solo play. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of the way they rank these. Because, turrets are great for solo play. They're also great for co-op play. When you end up with a couple of people that have a turret to chuck out, that gives you so much more damage and DPS. It's amazing. They say the Hive is not good for solo play, but if you come in here and you get the Reviver Hive, if you're running a hardcore character and you aren't completely unconscious, as long as the Reviver Hive is not on cooldown, it will pick you back up. So, depending on, like I said, your play style, it changes up. It is a little more difficult to use because it's got a huge cooldown when it comes to that Reviver style. But if you're using like the Stinger Hive, or the Repair Hive, it's like the Repair Hive is that, you just learn to use your armor packs. That's not as necessary in my mind. The Stinger adds a bleed effect. If you know where your mobs are coming from, if you know where you're having trouble, chuck that sucker. If you can bottleneck your guys in any way, shape, or form, get them through a door. Like, that Stinger Hive rocks so hard. So beautiful. But, like, when I open the Hive, the Reviver is the first one I grab. The turret, it's always the sniper turret. Not the sniper, the assault turret. The sniper turret, you've got to tell it where to shoot and when to shoot. It's kind of cool. It does a lot of damage. But personally, like for myself, that's a lot more work than I want to invest. I like the assault turret where I just set it down and it shoots stuff. The flame turret can be a little bit difficult because when you go to set it out, it works in a cone space. And once you set it down, you can't change the location of it as far as I've seen. So you have to know like where you want to set it, how you want to set it, and then you have to turn it on and off, or it'll just sit there and blow all of its gas out and become useless. Like it'll burn itself out. So, like you see this red cone out there as the video's playing. These guys, if they get outside that cone, like right now, this is no longer doing damage to these two guys back here because they're so far outside that range. So, personally, the flame turret, I like the one in the original Division better. So, the assault turret is usually the way I end up looking. The pulse, you've got a couple of options. The pulse scanner will help you locate items, objects, and mobs. And it'll tell you, like, you have so many hostiles in the area. Personally, I just look at the minimap, look where the red's at, mosey towards it if I don't see where they're at. The pulse does give a little bit more visual to the enemies. So depending on how you're wanting to rock that. The variant of the pulse is the remote pulse, where you can chuck it somewhere and it'll do a 360 scan. Has a time on it, how long it runs, what it does. Never used it, never worked with it. Personally, the pulse is not my favorite one to run. The jammer is the one that I look at, though, when I do look at the pulse, because it will knock out turrets, drones, trucks. It knocks out electronics because it does an EMP-like pulse. I love it because then, these guys aren't doing their own stuff to you while you're trying to do your stuff to them. So, the chem launcher, that one is always a fun one to play with. You have the reinforcer, so you can shoot an area of effect to an ally or yourself that repairs armor on that character. You have the fire starter, which shoots a cloud of gas, which then anything will ignite it. A bullet flying through the air, so if they're shooting at you, they'll fire that thing off, and it's fun to watch. That's one of my favorite ones to run when it comes to the chem launcher. The riot foam, I find the enemies tend to break out of it really easily, so it doesn't hold them as stationary as it kind of makes it look there. It does make throwing grenades a lot easier when you're running in co-op play. So one of you foams off and then the other one has a grenade ready to chuck. That way you can get the full effect of a clustered grenade or, a decent frag. So that's not so bad. And then you have the oxidizer, which the oxidizer is a corrosive gas that damages enemy armor, but it also damages them as well. So it does over time effect. If they get out of the effect, then the effect wears off. You have these ups and downs with it. It doesn't kill them as fast as it shows here later in the game. Early, low mobs, it's not so bad. But personally, it's not my favorite. I always end up going with like the fire starter first, just because I love Pyromaniac at heart. So that covers these guys up here. Let's go to the shield. My favorite build, and probably the one I'll work towards here, is the Crusader shield, and then the fire starter with the flamethrower specialist gives you an upgraded version that has more life, more use. But the fact that you can run any weapon in this stabilization notch, as you see here, that's not a machine gun, a light machine gun, or a marksman rifle, makes it so that you can progress doing heavy damage and taking some shots, like mobile cover. It's beautiful. The Bulwark shield only works with a pistol. It is a huge amount of life. Damage resistance works really well. When I'm running co-op style, this one comes up with the Foundry Bulwark set that I like to put together. This one, or with the Crusader shield with the Foundry Bulwark set, and like I said, the Flamethrower Specialist. Like, it's a great build. Love it. The deflector, I've played with the deflector a few times. I don't have anywhere near the amount of luck it looks like they've got in this video, where they're pelting you full of bullets and you're actually able to have the ricochets kill people. Like, I've never been able to get that to fire off right. I don't know, maybe I'm just doing it wrong. Maybe that's my problem. So I generally don't run with it. Like I said, my first go-to is always the Crusader shield there. The drone, which is actually what I'm going to grab here, we'll come back to that one. So the drone is a great way to go. Your Seeker Mine, you've got your explosive seeker mine, which basically does what it sounds like. It runs out like a grenade, just rolls on its own to an area and explodes, doing an effective damage. The seeker mine, the airburst seeker mine, will actually go out and shoot stuff into the air, and it causes them to catch fire that are within proximity there. You can kind of see how it, does that burst there. Again, one of my favorite styles. The other one of my favorite is the cluster seeker mine, where it'll break off into multiple units and hit multiple bad guys at once. Really good for low-level mobs when you're just kind of rolling through stuff. The higher your tech skill, the more damage it does. And it can make some of that solo playing like really easy, taking out some of those red guys where it's just like, yeah, wipe those guys out, I can focus on the big guys. So the Seeker Mine is one of my favorites for versatility. I take a while to get that unlocked. The Firefly, we'll start over here with the Demolisher. It is my favorite version of the Firefly because you pull it out and then you start moving your cursor around and you mark weak points on enemies, and then it'll go out and explode those weak points for you. And as you see in the video there, it takes them out. Love that when you go up against the cleaners and it's popping tanks. Explosions of gas tanks off of their backs. It's just beautiful. So that one took me a little bit to get used to, but for a lot of the achievements and badges that you can earn throughout the game, that one is a great one to work with. The Burst Firefly attaches explosives to a target and then detonates them if the two become close in proximity. I've not played with that one too much. I've not toyed with it. I usually end up getting a couple of my favorites and then I just run the rest of the game with that. So maybe I'll pick this one up on this playthrough here and kind of toy with that a bit so we can check that out. The Blinder Firefly can be really cool because you get it set up, you tell it to pick targets, and then it goes up there and it just starts flashing them. So now they're under a blind status effect. Again, when you're working with certain badges and trying to take care of certain achievements, that one is a beautiful one to help hit those. So we'll go over to the drone now, and we'll start back here with the Fixer drone. Replenishes armor of nearby allies. This one is great. I like to run it with my armor build because I'm sitting here with a shield that's constantly regenerating. I have armor regeneration on my Foundry Bulwark set, and then I'm running the Fixer to also boost my armor as I'm going along. And I don't want to say invincible, but it gets pretty darn close when you have that much armor regen going on. And then if you run it in group play and someone else has a Fixer drone on you as well, yeah, forget about it. It's rough. It takes a lot of damage to drop it. And if you're into the PvP style play and you go into the Dark Zone, it really causes them to have to focus on you to really bring you down, and that opens them up for your allies to really do stuff to them. So Fixer drone can be really fun to play with. The Bombardier I am not a fan of. I've done, trying to set locations, the controls on it can be a little wonky until you get used to them. The biggest issue ends up being is it works decent in solo play, but then when you get to group play and everybody's doing something else, the mobs are constantly running around. It's hard to get the mobs to be in the locations to make shooting that off worthwhile. There's so many better things to use than the Bombardier that will be more beneficial to you. Let's say the Striker drone, which is my favorite one to grab starting off. Because with your tech high enough, you shoot something, it shoots something. If something shoots you, it shoots it back. And it starts to be intelligent enough to work on its own. So, like, as where the Bombardier, you have to tell it what to do and when to do it, the Striker drone will just go. You can override and tell it to go attack this guy first or go do that guy next. But it's just so much easier on use in general. Great for group play, great for solo play. Really nice there. And then you have the Defender drone, which attempts to deflect incoming bullets from a sonic emitter mounted beneath the drone itself. I've played with it a little bit. I've never used it with my armor build because I always just go with the Repper, with the Fixer. So this one, if you're playing a support type character, as you see here, this character set it off onto the other character there. If you've got a guy who's kind of squishy, you can throw it on him to kind of shield some of that damage off of him. Like, I've never really played with it a lot, so meh. But like I said, right now we're gonna grab this Striker drone and equip that into my Q slot because that's where we're starting off. Okay. Thanks for listening to me ramble on about my opinions on those.
The theater settlement is off to the east. You probably run into some trouble along the way.
As I said, we're going to
but I'm sure you'll be fine.
Sell those off. Made 24 credits. Woohoo! Credits will come by a lot easier later on. But for now, like I said, just sell the gray crap, and then, at some points you'll see something you really want and you'll have the money for it. Things to keep an eye out and consider is that as you open this up here, as you level up, part of the game balance itself. So I have this assault rifle here. It's level 1. Let's say I really like it because the stats are amazing. But if I hang on to this gun and I hit level 6, level 7, level 8, because the gun may still be better than stuff I'm picking up, the balance of the game says this is a level 1 weapon. This weapon should not work as well as a level 8 weapon. And don't know why they decided that, but they did. So that's why when I say, don't get attached to your gear or your guns as you're progressing through the game, a few level differences, 2, maybe 3, you're going to be fine. Not a big deal. When you hit that 4 mark is when you'll really start seeing a difference in the way it fights the enemies. As where you could hit a guy 2-3 times and he'd be down. Now you're looking at 6 to 8, 9 times before he goes down. With your marksman's rifles, you'll be like, hey, I used to headshot guys all the time and they die. Now I'm needing 3 shots to drop them. It's really frustrating, and the only thing that I've found that explains that is that level difference. So, same thing with your gear for protection. So when I going through, if I find, I hit level 8, level 9, and I still have a level 2 or 3 piece of gear, that's when I'll come into the shop here and be like, oh, here's a piece of gear that's going to work for me. Or I'll go to the crafting table and be like, let's craft something of my level to replace this one to bring that balance up and keep me alive. Something to consider, especially when you're running a hardcore character, you want to have every possible edge you can. So, with that in mind, every edge that I'm looking for is things like portable electronic devices detected. So, I have heard these too many times. I'm not going to listen to them. You can skip the messages, but if you want to, you can come back into progression. You can come over here to collectibles, and then you can look at comms, and then they'll have the little exclamation mark saying, hey, this is a comm you picked up. This is a new one. artifacts that have been picked up. Apparently I got a White House snow globe at some point. All of these things that you pick up give you XP. And one of the biggest things for the hardcore gameplay that I'm looking at, these must be from my main gameplay, because I don't feel like... These have got to be, because I don't recall... Like, I haven't met any of the bad guys yet. Maybe it's across the account. Such is life. That'll be fine. I don't mind. Just less work I got to do. It saddens me that I won't be able to get the XP for those, because a lot of those collectibles come with, you know, XP and credit amounts. So the more you get, the more you make. But yeah, so as you're running through, you want to keep an eye out for comms and things to pick up so that you can get that little bit of extra XP, be a little higher level. So as you're progressing through the story, you are, you know, as, I don't want to say maxed as you can be, but it's pretty close. That's one of my little tricks, I want to say, to keep myself alive longer. Yeah, I gotta go out the other way. There's a collectible out there in the grass. Now, arguably, I could go out and start, you know, kicking some butt and trying to, you know, just get my levels up that way. I don't know. I, you know, like finding stuff in the collectibles and doing all those little things. I like finding all the backpack trinkets. I don't know what it is, but like most games, I will pick a thing that's collectible and be like, that's the thing I've got to find all of the things for. You know, in World of Warcraft, it was mounts. I have to have all of the mounts. Here, it's backpack trinkets. I always want more backpack trinkets. So.
Are you sure you want to do this? The optics are...
Boop. So yeah. So anyway, I think... Nope, there it is. As I say, there's one more around here.
Agent, we've just received a distress call from New York. There's been an attack on the division, and they've requested immediate support. Meet me on the White House South Lawn. There's a helicopter prepped for us.
The New York mission that just popped up that we heard there, that's actually the expansion. Once you hit 30, you can go to New York. If you don't have a level character high enough, they'll let you promote a character to being that high to go and do the New York stuff, which I considered, not gonna lie. I thought about like, well, you know, I could just skip all this low-level stuff, but why would I do that? Why would I deprive you guys of getting to see me run around, cuss, scream, scramble, and attempt to die repeatedly? Why would I deprive you guys of that? I mean, I'm not going to deprive me of that, so I figure we'll record it, and we'll all get a good laugh watching me try to die repeatedly on a hardcore character that, you know, the whole point is not to die.
Hey.
Yeah, co-op. I generally don't answer requests to assist. I normally
The neighborhoods you'll be moving
should
through
say
are
I
highly
never
territorial.
call out for help.
They're a bunch of vicious assholes who prey on the weak and vulnerable and kill for kicks.
Okay.
And they destroy
Oh, it's the
whatever
next
they
tree.
can't steal for themselves.
I'm like, where
They've
is
been
it?
an especially
Look at the
serious
mini-map,
problem
and
for
there
the
it
theater
is.
settlement. Given our situation,
George
we need the
Washington's
help of the
battle
settlement.
sword and
But they can't do much
scabbard.
if they're struggling to survive.
More
So see
collectibles.
what you can do to take some pressure off them.
All right.
Don't forget that we
So,
need to get the Shade
I'm gonna
Network
pop
back
this
to
open
full
here.
strength. In a lot of places, the division
skip
has been
through
the
all
only
of
thing
that.
holding people together. But when DC is the
Skippity,
priority,
skippity,
most
skippity,
agents are completely
skippity.
cut off. They're not going to last long without support.
Oh,
Object of interest detected.
end tutorial. So, our first step is to make it to the settlement in the level 2 area. So, map's pretty extensive. I've talked to a couple of people. I have personally never been to Washington, D.C. I've talked to a few people who have, and I'm told that the developers here have done an amazing job, that the rooms, buildings, and what you see here are as accurate as possible, minus the fact that the place is war-torn. So I always thought that was really cool. I like realism in my books and games, so when I see that the developers have taken the time to really put something together, I like to make a little shout out for that. Yeah, like the mapping of this is just beautiful. Alright. Enough of yakety yak. Let's go see if we can't get some killing going on. So yeah, that message there is telling us about the red marks. I'm pointing at the screen. I know you can't see it. In the upper left corner, telling us that there are enemies in front of us. So we're going to have the drone go hit that guy. We're going to help the drone hit that guy. We're going to tell the drone to go hit that guy. We're going to jump over here. Let the drone take that out. And we get our first green drop. Beautiful. And as we're here, this is the tech box, where you'll pick up components. Then we're going to go ahead and drop that down. Yeah, we're not going to worry about opening the inventory yet. We're going to get to somewhere safe. Because my luck, I'll open the inventory and get waylaid by some butt monkeys.
Electronic device detected.
Electronic devices. XP. Free XP.
Now?
All you got to do is pick it up.
They're still too spread out.
Alright. Did I reload? Yeah, let's reload. So, in the original Division, the developers put a lot of boxes and loot things, like, right out in the walkways. In the second one here, has not done that so much. You really have to get off the beaten path and start, like, roaming around little inlets and looking around at all kinds of little stuff here in order to find things. So yeah, so if you're hunting for stuff, wanting things to pick up, things to loot on, get off the beaten path. Go around, you know, looking, hunting down, checking out the corners, getting into these little crevices, places up in here. I was kind of hoping that I'd come across, there we go, things like that. You know, I picked up a crayon. Yay, crayon. Alleyways, doorways, places like that are really good for having stuff just stashed behind all over the place. As you're working your way through, look for these yellow bike locks. You can pop them off, and then usually inside there's, you know, some random resources for crafting, and this is a gearbox. So we're going to open that up. You'll see the green arrow telling me that it has a better armor value. Doesn't really have any other purpose to it. Once we start getting colored gear, you'll be able to start looking at different point values and things of what it does for you. Different bonuses that it gives you. So, like I said, get off that beaten path. Get out here. Pay attention to what's around you, so if your minimap starts to come up with a little red, you'll know that there's mobs floating around. This here is a gun box. Love those. An AKM. A little more damage. I think I've got something better in my inventory that we'll play with here in a bit. You'll come across these little boxes. These are shade boxes. And you can only open those once you've made it to the safe house and activated the computer within the safe house, whether that's in the settlement itself or one of the many safe houses that they'll light up on the map later for us. So if you see one, you know, just kind of note like where you went to get up to where you are, and keep that in mind. But yeah, as you're running through here, finding, you know, boxes of stuff, picking up gear. These boxes can be picked up once per loading of the game, if I remember correctly, or once per day. It's been a while since I've done all these little guys. But if you know, join someone else's game and you run a mission where there's a box hidden somewhere, if you've already picked up the box, you can't pick it up a second time in that day. So, things to keep in mind. So, like, if you know you're about to level, maybe mentally keep track of where that box is, level up, and then come back to it, because the gear that drops out of those boxes is your level most of the time. Sometimes it's not that nice. But, yeah. Alright, what do we got here? Yeah. What do we got here? Another gun. They're really throwing guns at me. Really hope I get my hands on a good shotgun early on. Oh, maybe that's what I should check. I should check to see if I got the specialty stuff. There's a couple of specialty guns that you get for some of the expansion content and other DLC that you can get your hands on. I will say that if you do go for any of the expansion or DLC content, get the passes, and rather than piecemealing all of your expansion stuff together, you'll save yourself quite a bit.
Go ahead. I'll cover.
So when I hit the theater, I'll pop that open, kind of show you what I'm talking about there. Come on, let me out of the truck. Anyone get hurt? Nope. Nope, you're all alive because of me. In the original Division, you'd have characters that are wandering around, and they'll be like, "Can I have a med pack? Can I have a soda? Can I have water?" And then they'll give you stuff, a random gear piece or an apparel piece. I haven't noticed so much of it here in Division 2. There are instances where they do ask for stuff, but it's been so few and far between that I'm just like, meh. Usually you're looking at patrols that are running around out from wherever settlement or control point they are at. And they're just running around doing stuff. So, like, you'll come across them and they'll be like, "I need rope." Or, "I need..." What's up here? You know, "I need, you know, this item or that item or something." So it just depends on where they're at, what they're doing, what they want, whether or not you've got it. So yeah.
You might be wondering why I'm leaving these. Perhaps it's deep.
Here's some gunfire going on. Settlement's right around the corner here.
coming up on the theater settlement. The woman who runs it is named Odessa Sawyer. Try to stay on her good side.
All right. So this theater settlement, probably one of the coolest ones.
Portable electronic device detected.
That's up above me. Oh, so that's something else to keep in mind. So when you see portable electronic devices on the mini-map there, they'll come across as like a little satellite-looking icon. They'll have next to them an arrow pointing up or down if it's above or below you. If there is no arrow, then you are relatively close level-wise as to where it's at. So, for instance, as I come up here, and keep that in check here. Come on. Okay. Oh, we're going to get a little visual here. So yeah, so as far as like settlements go, I really like the theater settlement. They've got this, rooftop thing going on, and it's just really kind of cool. All right, so come back over here. And now you'll see how there's the comm and the arrow's gone away. When you start running the main missions and the comms are starting to be more prevalent, it's hard to, it's really easy to miss them. It's hard to find some of them as you're running through places, and you may have to backtrack or rerun the whole mission in order to get to where it's at. So to go back to my comment about the arrows, so like you'll notice if I come down here, I'm still relatively on the same plane because it's connected by the ramp. But if I was to be able to get higher or lower, that arrow would appear to let me know like where it's at.
No. Keep your elbow tucked. You'll be a smaller target then.
So come running through here once. I don't think there's any in here yet. As you level up the theater settlement itself, like a lot of this stuff will get upgraded. They'll get a lot of cool little areas. Nothing really to interact with, just something cool to be like, wow, they did a thing there. So, stuff to keep in mind. For now, though,
Agent, hello.
Let's talk to Odessa.
If you're looking for Agent Kelso, she just left. I should have gone with her. But I'd only slow her down. I know you got your own problems to deal with. But them hyena motherfuckers took my little girl to get to me. If you can help, I'll be on your debt. And I always pay my debts.
Electronic device detected.
So now that we've opened up a new mission, when we crossed the white line into the area, it kind of lit up the map. And then as we're running along and zigzagging through, you'll see these little white dots of, vendors. The stash vendor, the project coordination station, all that stuff. And then out here you've got your components, your food. There's a water one somewhere in here. So if you go by it but you don't get close enough, it'll show up as a question mark on the map. If you do get close enough, then it'll identify what it is. Some of them will stay permanently. You'll know that like this is always a food spot. or this is always a component spot. But if you find, you know, like a propaganda center, if you find a hostage situation, or what's the other one? Territory control, that's the one I'm trying to think of. Like those ones, they'll reset and, you know, have different things. More often than not, they're usually always the same, but they can sometimes be controlled by different guys. They can sometimes be, you know, a different difficulty, etc., etc. So, now that we're through that, I'm going to continue making my rounds here.
Always nice to see you.
I want to come down here and check out the vendor. Can't afford anything, but it's always nice to take a look and see what's going on, see what your options are. So, speaking of options, let's start with level 2 gloves and junk those, and level 2 body armor and junk that. Level 2 mask and junk those. Guns. Guns, guns, guns. So, my personal favorites: shotguns, LMGs, assault rifles. Hands down, some of my favorite weapons to play through this game. Your LMGs, depending on which one you get, has some stability issues. They like to climb the longer you hold the trigger, so burst fire is always recommended. Some assault rifles will do similarly. Again, it just depends on the power of them. The shotguns, don't have to worry about that. 9 times out of 10, if you keep a shotgun like your level, you can drop guys in 1-2 shots easy almost every time. So, just depends really on what you're looking for, what your preference are. I've not been a fan of the submachine guns. I should be a bit more because they have so much stability and accuracy to them. My biggest issue just always ends up being the magazine size. Like, they don't hold enough ammo. Like 30 rounds in a mag is just it's too little for me. I always like having the LMGs that hold at least 50. The Stoner LMG, the one that holds 200 rounds, favorite gun by far. Granted, because of the way they have to balance things, because it has such a rate of fire with so much ammo, they create the algorithm to say this damage is so low because you're just spewing bullets and to keep it balanced and fair versus other guns. Myself, realistically, those LMGs are firing some wicked rounds. They should do a lot more damage. But that's me. Looking at what we've got here, I steer clear of rifles, mainly because most of them, they have a single trigger shot. So you're always just like, as fast as you can pull that trigger is what you're shooting. It does save on ammo. They do tend to have a little higher damage because of it, but like your RPMs go down a lot because it doesn't have that automatic fire. So depending again on your gameplay, if you're running that Crusader shield where you can drop that in that notch and you can go in there with that stability for it, and you know you're really good at like headshot poop and headshot boop, headshot boop, like it could be really worth that. Me, I don't play that way. That's why I always stick with like the assault rifle. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade from my military P416 to the AKM there. And then just looking at the other guns, like assault rifles and submachine guns and rifles, I really don't have anything that I want to swap my my shotgun out for. So we're going to go ahead and keep that there. We're going to select this, and we're going to come down here and hit our mod. We don't have any mods yet. Haven't really picked anything up. But as we do, you'll have the underbarrel mod, you'll have the magazine mods, you'll have the optics mod. So like the underbarrel mods usually end up handling affect handling, reload speeds, stability, optimal ranges, help you with those types of things. Your optics helps with optimal range, helps with accuracy and headshot damage. Your magazine ones will usually help you with reload speed or rounds per minute. They also have ones that increase the size of your magazine, and those are the ones that I really personally like, just because I get more bullets and I can do my, semi-automatic pulsing for a bit longer before I start running out of stuff. So, yeah. Now that we've got all that aside, we're going to come back here to the vendor. We're going to come over to sell. We're going to sell junk. I never recommend selling trinkets. You take a very long time to collect said trinkets, and I guarantee it, as soon as you sell them, you're going to need them for something. I just don't bother.
Good to see you, Agent.
So, that's a standard rifle. That's some gloves. You'll see that since I sold that batch, I've now got a little chunk of money. Like, the level gap between my gear and what I've got is not worth buying any of these at this point. If I was really concerned, I'd always grab that armor upgrade. Always take armor. Personally, I like armor over everything else, and then tech secondary. So while we're talking about it, so you've got your weapon damage, crit range, hit, headshot damage. That's what all the red is going to affect. The blue is going to affect your armor rating itself, and then your resistances to certain effects. Your yellow is going to affect your tech, the regen speed of tech, the damage output of tech, the healing effect of certain techs. So as you're gathering gear, you want to keep in mind like what your build is like, what you're looking at. Again, low levels, not such a big deal. Higher levels can be quite the beast to juggle. Personally, I've got a few builds for the higher levels that I really, really like. That I might get high enough to actually use them. Now, can't go that way, can't go that way. So that portable electronic device, where did that spring up at? Must not have been anywhere over here. So, they've got us going to the Grand Washington Hotel for our first mission. I think that's going to be the coolest way to end the first video on
I like our chances with you on our side.
on running a hardcore character. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll call it good here. We got that reloaded, ready to rock. Let's do this. Nope. I'm flying solo. Solo, you can't see me. Okay.
You're right next to the Grand Washington Hotel.
Okay, here we go. That should get their attention. Head to the service entrance on the east side of the building.
What the fuck was that? It came from inside the building? Oh, no shit, what caused it?
Once you're inside, find a way to the atrium.
And that's what I mean, my little burst fire. Too early. Cannot start doing that. Alright.
Portable electronic device detected.
Portable electronic devices are detected. We're going to grab a gearbox.
Portable device detected. Hostile radio intercepted.
We're under attack. It might be a diversion, so be ready.
Hostile radio intercepted.
I'm heading upstairs to the hostage. Everybody, get to the atrium.
Shit. Saint's here.
The who now?
Hyena big shot. Real unpleasant. We need to kill this asshole.
But he's a saint. All right.
Nobody gets through. Nobody. Who's there?
Yeah, I heard something.
It's one of those drones. You see them?
Don't get They're gonna...
He went all the way to the top floor. Take the stairs to the right of the elevators and work your way up.
As you're running around, you'll come across little boxes like these. The coloring's supposed to tell you what's in the box so that you don't, like, you know, accidentally grab it in the wrong weapon. Do that all the time.
Electronic device detected.
Really bugs the crap out of me. I hate doing that. So you can put specialty rounds in all three of your weapons. You got your sidearm, you got your secondary, and you got your main. I love having specialty rounds in the shotgun because it causes a lot of extra damage. And I'm only blowing through one of them at a time because I'm just like, one trigger pull. Alright.
Electronic device detected.
Come on, pop your head up. Aw, I didn't have enough rounds to finish him. Such is life.
Why didn't you tell us? Honey, I'm so sorry.
So, this icon on the map, you'll see the little key and the little symbol. The symbol tells us hyenas. The key tells us that it's a lockbox. So, this is what you're looking at there. We don't have any keys at the moment. We get to work on farming those later. There are a number of ways to go about it, and I personally have my own favorite way of doing it. It's just a lot more fun to me. So, we'll get to that later when we need to farm keys. Aqua. Alright. Let's get our way moseying. We've been at this for way too long for the video. I might have to split this one. Oh, I didn't want to jump down yet. I want to come over here and grab my loot.
I just found an ammo stockpile. I'm gonna detonate it. That's what you get, you dumb sons of bitches.
You doing all right there, Kelso?
As long as I'm not breathing asbestos. That blast did a lot of damage.
So, some information to go over while we're sitting here. This, right below the cursor there, that's the box that's sticking next to my body. White is my armor, yellow is my life. You can see my tech piece for the drone there. He's now on cooldown. The numbers on the left side of that box is the number of rounds in your mag versus the number of rounds in your backpack. And then each weapon in respect. So this is weapon number 1. If I swap to weapon number 2, they switch spots. If I swap to weapon number 3, number 1's on top of number 2. Your pistol, your sidearm never runs out of ammo. So if you manage to blow through all of the ammo that you have, don't fear, don't worry about it. You can pistol whip everybody. There we go. Going up. All right. Yeah, we knew that. Do not exit. Well, no, of course not. There was a giant explosion up here.
No! Spread out! Look for survivors! This is fucking crazy!
Okay.
Get him off me! How do you like me? Bitch! We're down one!
That's probably the best headshot I've done in a while.
Fuck! Let
This being one of those occasions where I knew where those two guys were coming from. Knew that I wasn't going to spawn anything else behind me, so I went ahead and took the liberty. Really got to stop that. Took the liberty of running up there. And taking them out. Got to be careful doing crazy stuff like that in a hardcore game, because you know, if you don't know or you mistake one area for another, the next thing you know, you've got, you know, surrounded by baddies. That's how people die. Not that I've ever died that way before. No, I've done it 100 times or so. Very much so. Gun box. Give me something good. Give me a good shotgun. Come on, baby. Yeah, worthless junk. That's alright. So.
I'm on the roof, holding for backup.
I have eyes on you, Kelso.
You see Saint?
I don't know what he looks like, but there are plenty of hostiles up there.
Not for long.
Look and see. Got them, and there.
A dead agent. Better not get hit again.
Yeah, you say that, and then you turn around and let me shoot you.
No prisoners.
So what's our situation? Give it to me straight. I don't want any of this.
Alright. Trucking right along. We're going to run up some stairs, hit the roof. We've got a big fight up on the roof to survive. Then we get to go back down to the lobby, survive another big fight. There's another box that we can't open yet. So yeah, we're going to have some fun up here. What's up, Kelso?
Glad you made it. Ready when you are. Let's do this.
That window there was telling us about heavily armored hostiles. We don't like them. We don't want to have to deal with them ever. Okay, so Saint's coming out. The issue with Saint...
We're gonna have to punch through his armor.
Yeah, we have to punch through his armor. The bright side is... it doesn't take much. Now, most circumstances, most fights, you really don't want to do what I'm doing here, and that's stay in one spot. The mobs are coming out of the same doors pretty regularly, so I wasn't too concerned about jumping around. The earlier missions are pretty easy, but yeah, when you get into the later ones, sitting still like that when they're chucking grenades at you, or whenever they come at you with flamethrowers, or you know, all the other fun stuff, you really want to move often. All right.
Eleanor?
Let me find the
Your
little
mom
girl.
sent us to bring you home. Are you hurt?
Who are you? What's going on? She's in shock. I'll bring her down. Let's meet at the theater.
Heads up. You've got hostiles flooding into the building from the street.
Get down there and take care of them. I got Eleanor.
Alright. So come in here, restock. Now that minigun from the lobby fight, that will be fun to have to work with. However, when you're standing on that gun, you are a big target. So when working the minigun, you'll notice my crosshair when I start to shoot, showing that I'm hitting something. And then the little bar next to the gray bar that just kind of slowly grows the longer I hold the gun down, that's the heat on the barrels of the minigun.
Manny, is Odessa on the line?
I'll patch her in. Odessa? Kelso has some news for you.
We got Eleanor.
Is she okay?
Boom, and there's level
She's
3.
Okay. I'm bringing her home.
Oh, God. Oh, thank God.
See you soon.
No, don't be thanking
We've
God.
got some new footage of the hyenas. Might help you make more
And
sense
field
of them.
proficiency caches. More collectible footage. We won't worry about any of that. So at this point, we can walk back, or we can come over here, select our place by putting our cursor over it, and just fast travel. Personally, I do a lot of bouncing around, fast traveling, when I want to get like certain things done. If I have nothing particular, I'll start wandering the grounds, and take the long way to figure stuff out and get places. So, just depending on what you're doing, what's going on, take your pick.
Hey there.
All right.
It's worse than ever, Odessa. We're barely holding things together.
What am I supposed to do?
Help us!
I am helping. I am helping. Just not the way you want me to.
We need you out there again. Your leg wouldn't stop you.
It's not about that.
I know it isn't. But if we fail...
All right! All right. We could probably spare some people.
I'll be outside.
She said you did your part. I won't forget it.
Yeah. And then we have new missions opened up, and each one of these will allow us to unlock more skills, more tools. So yeah, so like our lock boxes are showing there inside the mission. We got some water over there. We now have a control point to play with. All kinds of stuff. But for now, we're going to bounce back to the base of operations, and we're going to call it a day. See what kind of upgrades they got going on us out here. What do they want us down here for? Ah, that's what. So, Quartermaster.
Hello, Agent.
We don't have the
Take care.
Shade Tech unlocked yet, so I guess we'll deal with that later. Once again, come through here, mark some junk. We'll take that. And then as you level up, so I hit level 3, field proficiency cache. It's going to pop out. It's going to give you a gear piece and usually a firearm of some sort, whether it's a pistol or one for the main hand or offhand. But you'll usually always get 2 pieces of gear out of there. So we'll take a look at that holster, which gives us some armor. So then you'll start seeing this ring over here start to spread out and fill. It says, look, of all the stuff you've got, I've got 3 chunks of yellow and 1 chunk of blue. So that's 4 altogether, and then it divides it all up for you, which I think is kind of cool. And what do we have here? That's an assault rifle. Does less damage. So you can always come over here and hit that compare button so you can side by side them. So like this one is going to get more rounds put out faster. The difference between them is this one has a higher drop-off range. So when you're shooting your round, its speed and angle are going to decrease over distance. So the better the drop-off range, like the more packed the round is and all that fun stuff, will tell you, like, your marksman's rifles will come all the way out over here, getting close to that 100-meter mark, and their stability will be a little higher. Their accuracy will be out the nose, and so it just really depends on, like, what type of gun you're running. This particular one, I am okay just ditching. I kind of like the AKM a bit more over that, just because it does have more handling, more, a little less stability. The reload time is less, but, I'm like, we'll let that slide for now. Then we'll come hit up our vendor. We're going to sell. Junk. There's another $200 for us to work with. The markets and the vendors, they have these set for restock timers. 2 days, 21 hours, 25 minutes in, 23, 2, 20 seconds. So if you see something that you don't quite have enough money for, and you're like, ooh, I could rack that up. Or if you see a piece of gear that you're like, that's really cool, but you know you're going to level soon, go level. Come back, pick up the piece of gear, because these will always be of your level as you're going along. So yeah, thanks for tagging along, guys. Appreciate you letting me ramble and talk about the game. It's one I really like to play. Really, really enjoy it. And this hardcore tune running up's gonna be a blast, I think. So yeah, thanks for supporting me. I really appreciate it. I do hope that you guys hit that like and subscribe button down below for future content. I am posting at least twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays. Coming up, we've got some more Dragon Age videos, doing all of the opening stories for the different races, and we're going to have some more of the Division coming out too. So when I get done with all those Dragon Age stories, if you watch them, get a feel for each of the characters and the playthrough, I'm going to throw it up to a vote. Just throw comments in the sections for the videos there. I'll tally up the votes on which character I'm going to finish the rest of the game playthrough. I have my preferences. I'm going to keep them to myself. That way I don't sway the votes. But yeah, throw your favorite in there. See where we end up. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. Take care.